This is episode 4 of Just a Few More Minutes, recorded on January 26th. We are three veterans of the animation and video game industry. I am Jeff Gabor. Alongside me is...
Oh, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Michael Berardini, sexy boy of the group.
And way across from us is...
Paquette.
The other sexy boy of the group.
And as always, we don't have a whole lot of time. We don't want to waste anybody else's time, so we just have a few more minutes, so let's get moving.
Boom! We're moving.
We're moving. What are we talking about this week, Peter Paquette?
Well, what do you have for topics, man?
Well, as we always like to start, let's start with our animation tip of the week.
Let's
How about
do
that?
it.
So, in terms of animation, this is a little bit pertaining to a very select group. This is talking about people, and actually, you know what? This is actually, no, wait, I take it back.
Here we go.
This is our most widely accessible note or suggestion, or what do we call these? Tips. Tips for people across a lot of different areas.
So you went from incredibly specific to including everybody in the world.
Yeah, right. So
Got
at first it's going to sound like it was narrow, but it's very large.
Okay.
The tip is perception is everything.
Oh, my.
Okay. So this isn't talking about a specific thing you like graph editors or setting up your scene like we talked before. This is, well, let's at least get to the right topic here. All right. All right. This is advice about how it can apply to very many jobs. So specifically to animation, so many animators show way too early to their supervisors for feedback.
Which is what we're told to do.
Right. So the main phrase is show early, show often.
Yep.
Do not ever do that. This is specifically for animators that just start out in the industry. I was given a very important bit of advice when I first started at Blue Sky, which was, for the love of God, do not show your first pass to the supervising animators. The reason why you do that is because the supervising animators, and this is especially true if you're a contract hire or a temp animator looking to get additional work in the future from the studio you're at. Mm-hmm. The reason is because you want the supervisors to have the feeling that you can handle anything at any time, that it comes easy to you, and that you can, whatever shots you're given, you don't really struggle. So what you want to do is make sure you show the leads. You want to show whoever generally the department sees as the animation leadership that's not the supervisors. Show them early, show them often, get their advice, make your shots look incredibly good. Now, you don't want to like your idea pass or whatever, your blocking pass, not blocking, your idea pass or maybe like thumbnails, you can show those to soups, get your ideas bought off on. But your animation, the execution part of it, show that to the leads and lead animators. These are the experienced people in the department. You should be able to know who those people are, show them, get their advice, have them work out all the kinks, and then when you look like a goddamn genius, show the supervisors. Because then, guess who is all of a sudden perceived as a brilliant animator? You've taken all the advice of these experienced animators, you don't tell them you ask them anything, and then all of a sudden you look like a god.
That's like the biggest fucking animation secret that we've ever given out.
Yeah, it's almost a scam, I'd say.
It is so important. I think it was Hans Dastrup, who's now a supervising animator over at DreamWorks, that told me that when I first came to Blue Sky. And it couldn't have been more accurate. Like, I remembered one of my very first shots of Blue Sky was this Sid shot where he walks up into screen on Ice Age 2 and he goes, "What?" And I showed so early to the supervising animator, Mike Thurmeyer, that he couldn't help but laugh at how bad my animation was.
Oh, that's the worst.
He gave a little show like, "Whoa!" And I was like, oh, dear God, my soul is crushed.
Yep.
And from then on, I took his advice, like, show everybody else. I showed Hans over and over again. I showed this guy named Juan Carlos Navarro over again. I showed you, Pete. I showed everybody in my surrounding area way before I would show the soups. Still trying to do it in a timely manner, because the last thing you want is also the soups to think you're too slow. But it's a huge tip, and it's something that's never talked about. Maybe it's dropped a little bit. Maybe you went to Animation Mentor. Did they ever mention anything like that?
I mean, not particularly. They do talk about like brainstorming with your peers and everything, which I think is also very, very essential to find like the great idea before you just pitch your one idea and then they're like, nope, that's not really going to work. But then, blah de blah.
I find it funny that you came to me on a shot.
Well, that was it.
That was back when I was good, I guess.
Now we're reminiscing just a slight bit about animation stuff, but when I first worked at or interviewed, I was like, damn, man, that Pete Paquette, he's going to be my friend. I like that guy. Like, that interview went so well, specifically with you. And then when I got to Blue Sky, you treated me like fucking shit.
You got to earn my respect, motherfucker.
That was exactly it. Like, years later, you told me why you did that, and you said you got to earn it. You don't just get to be my friend. All right, Pete.
But honestly, I'm not truly like that.
You've adopted that too, though, Jeff.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm a nice guy. I don't treat Mike like that.
Nope, and I haven't earned his respect at all yet.
I'll drink to that.
All right, drink. Everybody have a sip. This is for Nick Bruno. Nick Bruno, here we go.
Yeah, there's some... Oh, what do you got there, Pete?
I just have a Powerade.
That's
lame.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I'm sorry. I have scotch in the other room. Maybe I'll just go pour some of that.
You got to start getting back to it. These podcasts are for the drunkards.
Yeah.
The drunkards?
Speaking of Nick, he said he would text me during this.
He doesn't know when we record, does he?
I told him exactly when we record.
Oh, nice.
So, let's jump straight out of animation and jump as quickly as we can into video games, because there's been some pretty cool news, or at least some cool things that I've seen this week that I'm really interested in. Primarily, which my new anticipated video game of the year, you sent out through our Twitter account a link to the trailer, but an Ocarina of Time remake.
Yes, and not just any remake. It's a 2D remake in the art style of Link to the Past. It is absolutely gorgeous. It holds true to the aesthetic they're going for. And I did a little research. It seems as though it's coming out this winter. It's going to be playable on a PC. So, Jeff Gabor, you're going to have to get on that.
Yep. So I'm going to go over to Michael's house.
It's not being made in any sort of out of the box engine. The engine is being made from scratch, which is pretty crazy to think about. They're programming it all themselves, and
you guys would be more familiar, but to me it looks identical to Link to the Past.
Yeah. Like
the mechanics, the sprite animation, like the dashing and hitting a wall and bouncing off, and it just looks absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah, and they totally nailed it. I mean...
And if you really think about the actual aesthetic of it, to me it looks actually better than Ocarina of Time, because that was right when 3D animation was getting going with cameras and whatnot, and that does not hold up. It looks god-awful.
Blasphemy, sir!
No, I agree.
Wait, do you mean that?
Well, I mean...
The thing that now I'm getting into a little bit of I'm going to get hate for this, but the thing I didn't like about Ocarina of Time, because people proclaim it as like the perfect game.
Okay, first thing, how do you pronounce the damn game?
I've always said Ocarina.
Okay, and Pete just said Ocarina, and all growing up until literally as we started this podcast, I've always said Ocarina. But I think it is an Ocarina.
Yeah, you sound like Giada De Laurentiis when she says Manicotti instead of just saying fucking Manicotti. Giada, get over it. You're no better than Rachel Ray.
You know what this reminds me of? The whole Kid Icarus, Kid Icarus.
You're the only person I've ever heard ever call it Icarus. I just want to point that out. Yeah.
Well, why don't you go fuck yourself?
Already am, friend.
Nice. I can't see your hands. Anyway. Yeah, the thing that's interesting about it is that it's supposed to come out this winter, but on the site, it says it's only 19% finished. So.
Yeah, there's no way. All right, I will agree it looks great, but I would almost guarantee it's not coming out this winter, nor may it ever come out. But it's worth it just to see that art. And the one thing you know what we should do? We should actually go ahead and reach out to the guys and see if they'd be willing to just do a small interview. Wouldn't that be cool?
Wait, who are we talking about?
Whoever the hell the people are that are making this. I have no idea who.
Are we still talking about Zelda?
Yeah. The 2D remake.
Kid Icarus.
Are you drunk already?
No, there was not a proper segue back onto Zelda. The listeners will agree with me. They're on my side.
Okay. Michael needs a segue.
All right,
So-
all right.
Wait, I've
I
got
wanna-
a segue.
Okay, wait, are you leaving? Are you leaving the topic? Because I don't want to leave yet.
No, I'm not leaving
Okay.
it. I'm adding a tangent. Speaking of Zelda remakes and stuff, did you guys see somebody made the Temple of Time from Ocarina in the Unreal Engine?
Yeah, I did see that.
That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
It's
like
not.
that's a huge fad lately. Like everybody's been taking the old games like GoldenEye and Super Mario
Yeah.
64 and repurposing it in the Unreal Engine, and
mean-
that always looks great.
That's how you get clicks on Kotaku.
Yeah.
But go make a game, nerds. Am I right?
I mean, I've seen the same sort of remakes. Like people are remaking old retro video games into not Paper Mario, Mario Maker. So you can you can play Mega Man in Mario Maker.
Well, yeah, but you can't shoot. It's all just aesthetic stuff.
You can
They-
pick up a turtle and kick it.
I'll have to look up this one guy's channel, but it looked like he somehow. Listen, this is how little research I did on that video, but I swear he made a Mega Man sprite
No, that's in the game.
in Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he did that. But yeah, right, he couldn't shoot.
Right.
You can unlock
Okay.
different
So it's
character
like-
sprites using amiibos.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can
okay,
be
okay.
Zelda in Mario Maker, but you don't have your sword. It's still
Which
Mario.
Zelda?
I don't
Well,
know,
there's
like
two
all
of them. There's a Toon Link and then there's a regular, like old
cool.
school Link.
But yeah, people waste a lot of time with that. I mean, I've seen.
Yeah, but that's how people get jobs. They're like, look what I've made. It's
Oh, that's
really
true.
cool. And then I was just listening to an interview with Steve Gaynor from Gone Home, and he got his first job by making like fake maps for, I forget what he said, Fear, maybe? You probably never played that because you don't like scary games, but that it just had like a mod editor sort of thing. And he made levels and he showed that to like wherever it was. Actually, I think he got a job at the people that made Fear. And they were like, that's pretty good. And then they hired him.
Yeah.
Talking into the mic now, Jeffrey.
Sounds good.
Yeah, maybe I should make a mod or something like that.
I know people out in college used to be making mods for Unreal Tournament and whatnot, and like, you know, doing their own textures and modeling, and then selling those. Like, pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That was a long time ago.
It's
That was
pretty
like
huge.
15 years
An old
ago.
friend of mine from Irrational, he went on the Steam store and sold assets. He's made like thousands of dollars.
We're gonna just do a bonus animation tip here. So, animation tip number 2, just going off that. You know what? Enough animators do not appreciate the fact that they got to work for free. They straight out of college and whatnot. There's this whole thing is like, you don't work for free. Bull fucking shit. Internships, sometimes you got to work for free. Sometimes there's payments that come way off late. You got to get your respect up. You got to do those free mods or just bullshit that's like a hobby stuff to really gain your skill level up. There is a respectability to working for free and doing some work that maybe you're not actually ready for, but at least you're gaining a reputation. Seriously, I bet you...
To an extent.
Yes, to an extent. Like, you don't want to work for a movie for free and all that. But there is a real thing. I think definitely my first internship was absolutely Scots-free. I learned a lot. I got a lot to it. And I think I don't know about you, Pete, but I'd be willing to bet that you probably did a few jobs where the payment wasn't right away, or certainly the payment was a lot lower than you felt like you were ready for.
Well, yeah, my first job, my first art job, I was drawing storyboards for a Chinese game that never saw the light of day. And the storyboards were the game was basically teaching how to play different sports, teaching the rules of playing different sports. It was the most dry thing I have ever worked on, and that didn't pay very much.
Was one of the sports how to not have multiple children?
But yeah,
Because it's Chinese, you see.
Yeah, I got it.
right.
Well, there's the thing where you like kill your daughter so you can have more kids.
See, I was avoiding getting too tough.
That's real.
I know.
And then
I know.
I don't mean to interrupt you guys,
No.
but
Go
then
ahead, please.
the following summer I wanted to get actual animation work, and I went to the local animation house down near Ringling School, And I went in there and I said, hey, I'm an animator. I'm learning to animate. I'm a sophomore. I want to work. I'll work for you guys for free just so I can learn how to do this stuff. And they ended up paying me. I mean, not much, but they did end up paying me. But it was how I was able to get experience. And then the next summer I was at LucasArts. So
Cool, man. I paid for 2 colleges.
And went straight to Blue Sky.
Well, yeah.
oh, boo-hoo.
That's a new wave, man. That's a new wave. Go to Animation Mentor, get a big job. Expect A shots.
No.
All right, now where are we?
All right, so we're done with Ocarina of Time.
We're done
Although
with
I did want to just fit in one last thing that I hope is in that game.
We have just a few more minutes for this.
Just a few more minutes.
We're not. It's not going to be an hour. I could see it right now.
Really? What time? Oh, man, I forgot to switch my setting on that.
Do you think if we do it while it's recording, it'll screw everything up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You do?
Yeah, don't touch it. It's 50. We're at 16 minutes.
16 minutes. Oh, we're going. I got plenty to talk about.
We got this.
All right. The one thing I hope they have in that remake is the fishing. Because I loved the fishing. Like, especially with the Nintendo 64 Rumble Pack accessory.
Yeah.
They'll probably have that.
How can you... Well, I guess it's sort of like top-down, not side-scrolly. Because, like, the best part about that fishing was going to all the different points on the lake trying to find the best spot to land it in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you'd still be able to get that. You'd be able to wander around.
So maybe you guys know, but I don't know. I've never really looked up any. Like, I played that game pretty straightforward without, like, asking friends for help or even continuing now. Like, I haven't, like, twitched it or watched other people play it ever.
Ocarina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this, like, little, like, leech worm, black worm in the pond. Could you catch that? I was never able to catch it. Like, I feel like I could get it on my hook, but I can never catch it.
I am not familiar of Little Black Worm Friend.
It was this, like, little thing.
I got a secret shame to divulge with you guys.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I never played through Ocarina of Time.
What are you?
Sorry.
All right.
No,
well,
I never
this
played
has been
through it.
just a few more minutes. We have to revoke Pete's card, and we will be getting a new third partner. Peace.
Bullshit.
Roll the music.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oh, yeah, I forgot to give credit to who again, Pete? Who's our musician?
Jordan Pearson.
Jordan Pearson. Thank you again, by the way. Love the music.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's good.
And he's a good guy.
Hey, speaking of promotional stuff, you may have noticed on your iTunes and other things, we have a new logo.
That's some good news.
That's some awesome news, yeah.
I would say it's pretty sexy, right, guys?
I think it's
Talk about
gorgeous.
how nice it is.
Well, I think it's great. I'm actually really happy with the way it turned out. So please go ahead and head to our Twitter feed and give us little comments on it and whatnot, because I think a very special person did the design work on this.
Yes.
My wife, Mindy,
Yes.
did it. It
Does
was a
she
bit
have
of
a Twitter handle she'd
collaboration.
like to get some praise from?
Not at all, no.
It's not
You can email her directly.
at mberardini@blueskystudios.com.
No, that's
Is it?
me. Please don't send anything there.
Oh, man. You're going to get a ton of demo reels.
Oh,
No.
You're going to get a ton of demo reel emails.
I'm not good at that stuff. I don't check email. Actually, that's a lie. I check my email so fucking well. But don't send me anything, please. Go through the proper channels. Send them to J. Gabor.
At youporn.com.
So,
golly.
in order to keep this thing moving forward...
Yes, what other big news? There is one... Oh, wait. You go ahead, Pete. I hope you're going where I hope you're going.
Well, the segue from the Ocarina of Time
Yes.
is on the other end of the spectrum is balls kicking simulator.
Oh, Lord.
Now,
My kind of game.
this is a game that actually made it on Steam Greenlight. And it touts having... Let me see, where is this? 12 absolutely different opponents, each with unique abilities, 3 different game modes, battle the enemy, battle the animals, and practice your balls. More than 20 achievements, great music with a touch of madness, a large variety of caps and effects, and fun for one night.
Just one night.
Yeah, so like this game, if you haven't seen it, I sent it out on our Twitter feed. It's a very pixelated, like almost below 8-bit pixelated.
Like 4-bit.
Yeah, it's really bad. And
3 of those bits go towards the censored dinglings.
It definitely looks like it could play on my Atari 7800.
Yeah, and the idea is you have to hit certain buttons at a certain time to kick the other person in the genitalia. And you actually kick their dick off.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
That's excellent.
Yeah, you actually kick their... it looks like you kick their dick off.
Actually,
And
you
then
want to
you
know
win.
one of my favorite stories with Nick Bruno? Is when I was working at work.
Wait, who is Nick Bruno?
Nick Bruno is a supervisor at Blue Sky that we've mentioned every podcast.
Listen, we have new listeners every week,
Okay.
and the stats show that.
Cool. Welcome to the show. I'm the nerd.
Michael Berardini.
Michael.
And
Anyway,
Berardini at BlueSkyStudios.com.
I came on as a junior at Blue Sky, and I was animating icebergs on Ice Age 4. And there was one shot that had like 300 icebergs in it floating in the water. And Nick was like, hey, change that one iceberg in the back. And I was like, fuck you, I'm going to punch your dick off to the moon. And I got real nervous real fast. But then he laughed and was like, yeah, and then it would hit the floor and jiggle and stuff. And I was like, I love my job. So that's my story. Keep going, Pete.
Yeah, this game has actually gotten a lot of backlash from gamers that are well, specifically PC gamers who have accounts on Steam, because the Steam Greenlight has become this abyss of shit.
Yeah.
And it's rare now that a game actually comes out of there that looks very good and promising.
Yeah, so this is actually a relatively serious topic that I wanted to get into. Steam Greenlight, so this is Valve's their ability or their way to try to filter games to the top. This, or at least that was their idea, is to make Steam Greenlight a way that users can vote up games that they're excited about, so they can become part of the front page. They can get extra attention, and then they can become games that are successful. Right?
Correct.
That was the idea of Steam Greenlight. And my very pessimistic view of humanity is when people see a good idea, they try their best to abuse it, kill it, murder it, unless somehow there's every single precaution taken to secure what it is. Humanity somehow finds the fucking weakest link and destroys it. And that's Steam Greenlight in a nutshell, which is users abuse the system, they flood the market with a ton of games, and how do you get recognized? Well, you create Facebook forums where you all agree to upvote each other's games. Or you create the most nonsensical, retarded games like Ball Kicking Championship fucking 2020, whatever the fuck the name of this game is, Ball Kicking Simulator. And it gets attention because it's just a random, retarded game. Where these games that are artfully done, respectfully done, have years of people's experience behind it, go to the bottom because they simply just don't get the proper attention. But they are the games that are the more, I think, that people are looking for, but they just get buried in a wealth of garbage.
Yeah, but Steam Greenlight, I think, is meant for the cream of the crop of the garbage. If it's a good game, it doesn't have to be Steam Greenlit, right? So I think it's the kind of games like Ball Kicking, which I think there's a place for in gaming, because I would fucking love to play that with everybody one night, get drunk and play that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, otherwise that game would never get seen.
Well, what was that? The game?
Shower with your dad simulator?
That's a real was really fun too.
That's a real game.
I prefer the real thing. But what was that?
I'm avoiding dad jokes this episode?
No, that's a real game. I'm being serious.
No, I know, and it looks fun.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, let's see, therein lies the problem. The Shower with Your Dad simulator got actually some positive feedback, and so everybody jumped on it to try and do something similar or more risque, I guess. And that's why you end up with Balls Kicking Simulator.
All right, so but occasionally a good game that's popular comes out of there. What was that horror game with the carnival shit? The Chuck E. Cheese thing.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Was that not come? I swear I'm 99% sure that came out of Steam Greenlight.
Maybe it did. I don't know.
Let's just say it did.
Sure.
I really am pretty sure it did.
Okay.
So there are occasional games that come out like that. So you got to wonder how many games are being buried by games like Ball Kick Simulator because people upvote that, or people create forums where they agree to upvote a bunch of shitty games to just produce this content. It makes me worried. I don't know.
I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out, though. And I'm a big pessimist. I'm not an optimist, but I've gone through Steam Greenlight, and the stuff that does reach the top are the good ones.
You think?
Yeah.
Most of what I've seen on that's on the top of Steam Greenlight is very redeemable. So I think it's working. I think just people are tired of clicking through tons of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I'm just worried about that there's just such an influx of garbage that it's really hard to figure out what's good. And that's definitely Valve's intention, and I definitely appreciate them. But I worry that there are other sites that provide hosting for cheaper and seem to get things up to the top easier. So I worry for Valve that they're just not paying enough attention to making sure of that. But I don't know.
I definitely think that there should be some sort of quality control in submissions. Because right now it doesn't seem like there's any.
Well, isn't there supposed to be a $75 fee that's supposed to sort of cut down on the ridiculous submissions? But even
$75 is dick.
Right, that's not a whole lot.
That's not a lot of money at all. Anybody can. That's like the cost of a game. Anybody can come up with $75. Well, but the thing is that they need some sort of a screening in order to kind of weed out the garbage. Personally, I think that would help.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know. Have we all agreed we've said our piece on this?
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about the game that I was very much looking forward to in the next month, which is definitely not going to happen in the next month now. The news about Mighty Number 9.
Wait, was that supposed to come out this month?
Within a month, February.
It's supposed to come out February 9th.
Yeah. So we were talking about playing this within 2 weeks of now. That is most definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
Garbage.
But all right. So if you follow something Michael and I suggested last week, which is a podcast or whole host of videos, these people called kindafunny.com. There's a very popular guy from IGN, or formerly IGN, Colin Moriarty, had a hell of a lot to say about this recent delay of Mighty Number 9. And he basically said, listen, you guys are delaying this once again for multiplayer, or not multiplayer, but specifically for online content, for matchmaking or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
To fuck off. Nobody cares about that shit. Just release the game. I'm going to at least give the other side of the story, which is the other side is Halo, the Master Chief Collection. They released that game when things weren't ready to go, when everything wasn't working. In fact, almost nothing was working. But I do appreciate that at least they are delaying the game to the point where it's working 100%. I would rather wait 2 months or a month or 3 months or 6 months for a game that's fully working, that's ready.
Yeah.
I feel like right now the problem is actually too much information. Everybody's getting so much information about release dates, anticipation, trailers after trailers for years and years, that then people get their hopes up so high. It's like, I can't wait for this game, and then it didn't come out, and then everybody's pissed off. It's like, I'm going to boycott the game. Like, Pete, you and I grew up.
I think that's like...
You did
sorry,
too, Michael.
go on.
Oh, I was just saying, we grew up in a time where it's like games just came to us. When a game was on the shelf, then we got stoked. It was very rarely that we saw a game being advertised a year in advance and then got pissed when it didn't come out at that exact time. To me, it reeks of just people being...
ignorant.
I don't even know if it's ignorant. It's like there's just so...
I think it's ignorance. I think people don't understand what it actually takes to make a game these days.
No, that I agree with you. Yeah.
But I also think you guys are missing the point about Mighty Number 9 is it's a side-scroller shooter. Like, what possible matchmaking does there need to be in that game?
Now, I'll go as far as to say that I think that they are... Like, what I don't understand is that this is the third time that they've basically delayed this because of how, and they keep mentioning how many platforms the game is coming out for.
Mm-hmm.
So why do they need to release the game on all these different platforms if it's going to be such a problem? Why not release the game, get a good working version of the game, come out strong on the PC, Xbox, and PS4.
That is definitely a good point. Yeah.
And then release the rest of them in time. That's what Shovel Knight did, and it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they have some sort of contract deal, but I guess we don't know.
I honestly think it's just they want money. They want to be in every possible venue.
And just to make sure, because I think we have a pretty good wide variety of audience that some people that know absolutely fucking nothing about video games that just want to hear us talk. But Mighty Number 9 is very much like, you could basically say, a Mega Man ripoff. It's a side scroller,
By
little
the guy
robot
that
android.
created
Yes.
Mega Man.
Yes.
Keiji Inafune.
Yeah, so he left Capcom. He's basically striking out to make a game that's very much like Mega Man with very similar mechanics. The actual like gameplay definitely looks like it has a new idea on top of it, but that's the kind of game we're talking about. So it definitely appeals to retro gamers, people that aren't matchmaking. They're not online players. I want to play a little bit of a story that's a side scroller, that's a shoot 'em up platformer game. So that's the type of game we're talking about. So there's a very real point that Colin Moriarty had, but I just wanted to, I at least wanted to say that there is a good point to, like, let's just let this guy, he has a vision, let him make the game he wants, and
Not ship a broken game.
yeah.
Now, if it comes out and it sucks, then
Which I think is a super high possibility. Everything
then
I've seen of
all
that
bets
game,
are off. You know what I
I'm
mean?
like, that just does not appeal to me in any way. Like, I think I said in the first episode that I can't stand like the 2.5D side scroller stuff. This is exactly the epitome of those kinds of games that I don't enjoy.
Okay.
Yep. It's funny. It's like, would you say the inception of this idea is Donkey Kong Country? You gotta agree. You gotta agree.
No.
Donkey Kong Country is the very beginning of pre-rendered 3D looking objects made in the form of sprites.
Are you talking in general or
Yeah.
Mighty Number 9?
No,
obviously it's influenced by Mega Man, Jeffrey.
Right. No, I'm saying this idea of 3D on top of 2D is from Donkey Kong Country.
Okay, then I can see your point, and potentially.
And where we're talking about blasphemous stuff, when looking back at all those retro games and what they look like, I like Donkey Kong Country as a game, but the way it looks does not hold up.
Man, I remember when I was a kid, I was so blown away by that. It was so cool.
You don't think it holds up?
No.
You're
Not at
crazy,
all.
man. You're a graphics
Well,
whore.
then why does Donkey Country work, and you're able to accept that and not able to accept Mighty Number 9?
Because it's still 2D. Like, there's no, like, real parallax. It's 2D parallax.
Really? I feel like there is 3D parallax.
No, they don't.
No, it's an orthographic camera.
Fuck that, man. I would love to do a side-by-side comparison of Mighty Number 9 and Donkey Kong Country and have you make the case that Donkey Kong Country is the correct form of the art. No way. No.
I mean, in some regards, though, you're talking apples and oranges, because one is completely 3D, but it's just the aesthetic is made to look 2D. You know?
See, because it's the angles I don't like,
Yeah.
right? That's always, the perspective is, like, shifting as the camera moves down.
Okay.
Donkey Kong is 3D, but it's a flat image that just scrolls.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So that's what I don't like.
Okay.
Well, you have a valued opinion, and we respect that.
No, I do agree with that part. I don't like seeing 3D objects move in a 2D scrolling way.
Yeah.
That really bothers me.
Yeah, and I'm sure the game plays great. I just don't like the way it looks,
Yeah.
which is a stupid hang up, but whatever.
Well, either way, we'll be waiting till what sounds like late March, mid-March, something like that for Mighty Number 9. I cannot wait to give a review on that. That will be an instant download for me, for sure.
Wasn't it also a Kickstarter, too?
Yeah, I backed it years ago.
Which
That's
is
straight
insane.
BS, man.
It's insane. It's
And
like
he's had a second Kickstarter for another game since this one.
Which he actually got.
Yeah.
He actually got a company to publish it.
Yeah.
So
when you're talking about titans of the industry, this would be like Steven Spielberg being like, "Hey, could you guys kickstart my project?"
I can't find any money for it.
This is a guy that created modern video games.
Roger Deakins won't do it unless you hit the stretch goals.
all right, let's move on, gentlemen.
Thank you for saying that for me. Just in small news, let's just talk about, since we mentioned it before, that this weekend is the weekend. If you did do the pre-order for Division, you get access to the beta. It's a closed beta, but hey, nonetheless, it's there. So make sure if you pre-ordered, go ahead and play it this weekend.
Can we talk about how you gave me shit for being excited about it?
Okay.
So, I don't know where to begin. Jeff basically was like, this game looks like shit and I don't understand why you like it. You like retro games and like artistic stuff. Why could you possibly like a third-person shooter garbage?
This is the epitome of saving it for air, because this was a bomb we had through email where we both just didn't talk about. So
Now, I have a gripe.
Okay, yeah,
Mike,
so Pete's going to sell.
You did not use Jeff Gabor's voice properly.
That's absolutely true. That was more of a Pete, and I apologize.
All right.
All right, I do have man, this is super inside ball. Pete, I have a message from David Sloss, our formerly British animator from Blue Sky.
Yes, what does he have to say?
He said, don't half-ass his accent.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So,
Sloss is one of our 2 reviews on iTunes, and he called us rubbish. 5 stars.
All right. So we're still within the first half hour of the goddamn podcast. Please go to iTunes, for the love of God, and just rate us 5 stars. You don't have to put a fucking comment. Just give us 5 stars. That helps us out. This is a hobby of ours. You're not contributing money. The least you could do is just fucking click 5 stars.
I would prefer if you wrote something, too, that said, boy, the guy with the curly hair, which I can only assume through his voice,
has a dad that blows some major cock.
No. Damn it. Write
right.
a review, too. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the Division.
Oh, yeah, and how you fucking gave me shit.
Yeah, I gave him shit because I said I'll never understand the games that you like. And I think that's...
I think that's a crazy, crazy point to give me. Because, like, I can like a side-scroller. I can like a first-person shooter. I can like a third-person shooter that is multiplayer. That I have a wide gamut of things that I enjoy. And I feel like...
Let me put this forward. Maybe you read the context wrong. What if I said, Michael, I'll never get the games you like? I definitely didn't write it like that. But what if I did?
You didn't, though.
Because, like, what if it's like, maybe it's a compliment in disguise of like, I can't predict. You like everything so much, I can't predict which games you'll like or not like.
You're covering your ass, man.
Well, I can honestly say I'm not going to deal with the beta. I am looking forward to that game.
Oh, you're the only one that pre-ordered it, right?
I did pre-order it. I have the beta.
I would say it's your job this weekend to download the beta and play it and let us know. Dude, you got to.
Oh,
you have
God
to.
damn it.
Seriously.
I hate multiplayer
you're
games,
the only...
dude.
Because definitely you didn't.
Why did you pre-order it, then?
I didn't pre-order it for the multiplayer.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
All right. But
Valid
at least let us
point.
know. Play... Dude, come on, Pete. The listeners are asking.
All right. I will
FA,
queue it up.
What is our Twitter handle?
JAFMM podcast.
Yes.
At.
So
At the beginning.
if you're one of the 10,000 people that sent us a message saying you're going to listen, but it was probably an automated message, then please go ahead and comment and tell Pete he should play this weekend.
All right. I will download it and play it.
Good.
Just for you guys.
But your email made me think about stuff. We have a friend who will go unnamed, but he mostly plays first-person shooters. And it is my goal in life to expand his gaming horizon. There's so many opportunities in games that he's completely missing out on, and it's just because he's found his comfort zone. He's comfortable playing the first-person shooter games, which is totally fine. But to have such a narrow portfolio, binders full of women, mitt, I just think it's a detriment to your enjoyment of games, and I'm sure he enjoys games just fine, and I absolutely know.
I'm gonna blow up his phone. Are you talking about Jamie Geiger?
You're
not.
No.
Oh, you're not.
No.
Who are you talking about then?
Drew.
Oh, you think so?
But he's coming around,
All right.
and I'm very proud of him.
Okay.
But Jamie, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
He can't change though.
I'll talk quickly just about Jamie Geiger because I think that the application still somewhat applies to him. Would you agree? He's a first-person shooter guy. But just to put this out there, we won't stick on long. But I think we're gonna have Jamie Geiger on the podcast to talk about because he's the big Xbox guy.
Yeah.
So we'll have him in. We'll have him retort this soon.
He's a hardcore Xbox guy, and
That will be interesting.
Me and him might have some real fisticuffs about things because he can get me worked up real good.
But I will say he does know his stuff. He's not gonna just spit out a couple stuff that he's heard through the grapevine. He does his research. Like, I will say 90% of the news I spit out here is because he gave it to me that day. He does know his stuff.
So,
yeah.
Do we want to move on with news topics?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Do you have we do have more news.
Yeah, we do. The old conspiracy theory that Michael Jackson worked on Sonic 3 has come true.
Yeah, surfaced once again.
Yeah. The guys who worked on the soundtrack that were credited, Brad Buxter, Bobby Brooks, Doug Grigsby III, Daryl Ross, Jeff Grace, and Siriko James, all confirmed that they worked with him on the soundtrack for Sonic 3, but his music was also featured in the finished game, even though there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not that was true. So I am going to play a clip right now.
What?
Of...
Oh, look at this.
This is our first fucking clip.
Yeah. Of the end credits, which is which was, I think it's untouched Michael Jackson music.
That sounded a lot like Michael Jackson.
Wow, I had no idea that was
Jesus,
Michael
don't play it
Jackson.
up or nothing.
But I actually know. I know Sonic the Hedgehog 3 inside and out. I played that game a fucking shit ton. I can see that. I would say it's probably much more he was doing like little beatboxing stuff because he did a shit ton of that. I feel like if you were to attribute who's the original beatboxer, it's Michael Jackson. Fun
Probably
fact.
not.
Yes.
I thought it was the Fat Boys, but
Fatboy Slim?
no, dude,
He's
years
white.
before that. Years before that, the Fat Boys. They used to do like all these like crazy beatboxing.
All right. I am legitimately saying I am a huge Michael Jackson fan. I've had for a long time. I've had to like endure a lot of pain standing up for the fact that I do like Michael Jackson a lot. And he is known as a very significant inventor of beatboxing.
Well, did you read the article that I put out today on Twitter?
Yeah, but just in case the people that didn't read it. You know,
No,
you should
I'm
explain.
just saying. I'm just saying. There's a lot of really cool information on there about like the time when he was actually working there and how it coincided with the whole allegations of child molestation and stuff.
Yeah.
And they attribute that to the reason why he wasn't put onto the soundtrack.
Right.
That and the fact that the audio was so compressed that he didn't want his name on the credits. But I think the latter was what actually caused it.
Well, and then if you look back, he had a good reputation with Genesis even before that with his Nintendo Genesis game Moonwalker.
Yeah.
Which what is that? Did you ever play that? Any of you two?
No.
Yeah, I did.
It's a
didn't play
fantastic
through it,
game.
but-
I still have the original cartridge, which that I bought with the whole manual and everything, and it is such a fantastic game. It's not just like this phoned in game just to try to like reap some extra cash off of Michael Jackson. It's actually a really fun game.
Yeah, and
It's good.
the fact that you have that complete in box is very noteworthy. That's a tough game to get complete.
Yeah, my mom was a huge Michael Jackson fan, and I think she ended up buying it, and it was an actual super solid game that follows the, I guess you can call it movie of Moonwalker, where basically the whole concept of the game is you're looking for, funny thing, little girls, not little boys. And you collect all the little girls, and when you collect enough of them on each stage, you move on.
Okay.
But
Now wasn't that a launch title?
no,
I think it was a
Really?
launch title because I remember seeing a poster with that on it when a Genesis first came out, and I was like, "What in the fuck is it?"
That would be shocking. A shocking fact.
Yeah.
That would sell consoles for me now. If a launch title on PS4 was Michael Jackson stealing little.
Will you go on your
kids.
iPhone and look that up if it's a launch title while I wax poetic about it?
Oh gosh. All right.
So,
Wait. This just in from Nick Bruno. A video game mom joke for Pete. Oh, your mama's so fat she can't play Candy Crush because she has diabetes.
that's actually not bad. Oh man, that's good.
That is good. Thanks, Nick, for the phone in. We're gonna have to get him to do that every week now.
That is good.
He should be a special guest at some point too.
He
Of
should
course.
We did get another microphone that doesn't work, but once it works, we'll bring in guests. FYI. What am I looking up?
If my Moonwalker was a launch title. So one of the cool things about Moonwalker for people that never played it was it followed the the movie or short or whatever it was for Moonwalker with Michael Jackson and was it Joe Pesci? I think it was Joe Pesci played the villain. It was really a really good fun thing that tied in with the Smooth Criminal. What was the fucking name of that album?
It was a movie
Not
too?
Thriller, the Bad album.
There was a Moonwalker movie?
It was 60 minutes, I think. So I don't know if you can call it a movie.
All right.
I guess it was a movie. Whatever it was really good. But anyways, the one thing I wanted to point out that was really cool is you would collect somewhere between like 12 little girls, Annies. So it was like, Annie, Are You Okay from Smooth Criminal. So you'd collect the Annies. And if you picked the one designated one from the level, that was the one that you were supposed to pick first, and then a comet would drop down. And if you caught the comet, you would turn into the giant robot from the movie, and you would just blast through the stage. It was so fun. So you would have to know exactly which Annie to pick up first, and then you would just destroy either all the zombies or all the hooligans. Just so awesome. And then what you could do is your special ability when you hold down A is you would twirl, and then anybody on the screen at that time, if you held it down long enough, would begin to dance to a special song. And they would all do dance to Smooth Criminal or the coolest part. Yes. All right. So here's a cool thing.
Okay.
The whole movie was based on the album Bad, right? The album Bad.
Okay.
But you're playing this level that's all about zombies, one of them. So what song out of Michael Jackson's repertoire would you think goes with zombies the best?
Touching
Thriller.
Kids.
He doesn't have a song called Touching Kids.
I bet you he does, but it's in his back catalog. Pete
You're
said
offending
Thriller.
Jeff.
Pete, Thriller, yes, thank you. Thriller would be the song you would want. But that's a different album with a different, licensing and owning, right?
Oh my God.
So how do you get it? Well, they licensed it just enough to where when you spin around and did your special move, all of a sudden you get to hear Thriller. And for that time, you got to have Thriller.
In a video
So
game.
good. Now this bends a little bit because there's Billie Jean in the game too. So you got to have that too, which is also from Thriller. No, is it? Hold on. No. Yes. No.
I don't know.
Yes, it is, because I remember my very first album I ever bought after. Hold on. My first album was New Kids on the Block. My second one was I wanted Billie Jean, and Billie Jean was on Thriller. So
My first album was Weird Al Yankovic's Dare to Be Stupid.
I never bought an album, but my first cassette tape was the Forrest Gump soundtrack, and I would just put it in my little Walkman and wander the forest and just look at the beauty.
And you're not joking whatsoever.
Not at all. My family had a cabin, and I would go look at the beautiful aspens and listen to the music.
Oh, man. That's great.
By the way, this Moonwalker bullshit, not a launch title, came out almost exactly a year after the Genesis came out.
Okay, maybe it was a later poster I saw.
That's still impressive. I thought it was like 5 or 6 years afterwards. I think I must have picked that up very late.
All right, so other news. Did you guys see the Ninja Turtles game trailer?
That was one thing I didn't click on. Did you, Michael?
I also did not click on this.
Please explain yourself, Pete.
Absolutely. There is a new trailer that was leaked called the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan, created by Platinum Games. It has the aesthetic of the old comic strips with the coloring of the cartoons, the original cartoons.
Oh shit! Yeah, I did see this. This is actually fucking cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I'm hoping it doesn't suck, because I'm telling you, the past, not since Turtles in Time has there been a decent Ninja Turtles video game. All the ones that came out for the Xbox and like the GameCube and then they had this re-release of Turtles in Time for that 360.
Oh my God. What a train wreck that was.
Yeah, and then they had this other one that came out last year that was just a complete piece of garbage. This, I'm hoping that it's going to be cool, so keep your eye on it. And lastly, for news, The Witness came out today. Jonathan Blow's Witness.
Oh my God, it took forever.
Yeah, that came out today. It took forever.
I think that was announced as a launch title for PS4 a year before that came out in like 2009.
For those that don't know, could you please explain this game?
Okay, so The Witness is made by Jonathan Blow. His first game was Braid. If anyone has seen Indie Game the movie, he's one of like the 4 main guys that they sort of focus and interview on.
And perhaps the saddest of the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like
kind
such
of a tool.
Smart guy though.
It's funny. Like, you can take it different ways. I just feel like he's definitely got some sort of Asperger's or something. Like, he just doesn't quite have a connection to people, or he gets super upset by it. Like, the people didn't. His big thing on that documentary was that people didn't accept Braid the way he wanted it to. Like,
Are you talking about Phil Fish and Fez?
No,
Definitely not.
He's talking
Definitely
about
not.
Jonathan Blow.
Yeah.
All right.
People didn't accept it the way he wanted it to, and that really hurt him. And that to the point where he wanted to almost leave.
Oh yeah, because didn't like Kanye West tweet about it or something, and he was like, "This game's fucking awesome."
Yeah, so he's like, "This isn't the game that I made. Like, this is not the way it was supposed to be perceived," and that hurt him. Like, this was something that was very personal to him, and I feel like that sort of perception of how people can accept your artwork or not accept your artwork and have that feeling towards it leads me to believe it's some sort of Asperger's.
Although he did bash BioShock Infinite after it came out. And,
did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of a dick move. So if he does have Asperger's, I feel bad for the guy, but I think he's generally does not know how to interact with people whatsoever.
Well,
him and Phil Fish, they're both a couple guys that, you know, I don't care how good you are at game design, you have to be a decent person.
Phil,
You know what I mean?
Phil Fish especially, I feel bad for. He gets such a bad rap.
I like him. I thought he came off very well.
Number one, Fez was a fucking absolute amazing game, and he made it essentially by himself, a very, very small team. And when you're doing the marketing for your own game, like if I made a game and I had to market it, I would absolutely flub shit up, and people will get pissed off at me too. And then if everyone attacks you on Twitter, I would absolutely react the same way.
I agree. Like, mainly a lot of our information is coming off the documentary that Michael mentioned, Indie Game, right? Indie Game or Indie Gamer?
Indie Game, the movie.
Indie Game, yeah.
Indie Game,
it was Netflix. Hopefully it still is, but definitely worth it checking out. I found it horribly depressing because I feel like it applies to so much art, which is like you can toil away, you can work really hard, you can believe in 100%, and then the end user immediately throws it away as garbage, or it doesn't matter, and is the satisfaction of working 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years on a project. It comes out and it is instantaneously judged, forgotten, dismissed, and is gone.
Yeah.
Welcome to the industry.
So The Witness.
The Witness. Now, I read that. Now, I'm only going off of what I've read, but it doesn't sound like it's very fun.
Oh, Pete.
It sounds like it's gonna pull my like it would be a game where I just pull my hair out.
Throwing shade already?
I'm just saying. I'm just echoing what was written.
What's it available on tomorrow?
PS4.
PS4 and PC.
Okay, and PC.
Yeah.
So let us know how it is.
It's apparently it's a maze game.
Yeah.
That's from the best of my knowledge. That's what I've.
Essentially, it takes place on like an island that looks beautiful graphically and everything. It's a very static island. There's not a lot of like storytelling to be had. They're essentially the thrust of the game, like the main game mechanic is maze puzzles where you figure out how to get from one point of a maze to another. There's like little consoles throughout the world that you walk towards, and then you figure it out, and then that unlocks the next part of the island, etc., etc. But like it introduces mechanics so the mazes get more and more and more and more complex to the point where you are pulling your hair out, or for Pete, pulling at nothing on that head of his. But
well, that was the other thing that the reviewer was saying, is that there's actually like a language to learn about how to navigate through these puzzles, this sort of maze solving language. It sounds very bizarre. I will probably check it out. I'm not hating on it. It's just I don't have a lot of free time, so when games waste my time, it drives me insane.
I'm super excited for it because I know there was like some documentary on YouTube that was talking about like how you introduce mechanics in video games, and how like there was a specific level in Mega Man, or a specific Mega Man game, where they introduced each mechanic like perfectly, so you understood it. You like mechanically try to figure it out on your own, and then once you do, it's always ingrained in your brain, and then they just slowly introduce more and more mechanics. And
you're talking about sequelitis.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the video about Mega Man 2.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone look that up. And then I think Jonathan Blow was talking about the same thing in Indie Game the movie. And this is just taking that, and I think distilling it down into like the simplest type of game possible, as a maze puzzle, and introducing slowly new things that you learn to understand, and then you have like a game vocabulary that would be hard to.
It's such an underappreciated art form of teaching users how to do and use the game.
Yep.
That is, I didn't really think about it until actually Braid was talked about on Indie Game, and he was talking about that, like how do you bring up the mechanics, and then Super Meat Boy people were talking about that, is how you slowly introduce the mechanics. Like you start them off easy, then you build it, then you show how to double jump, then you show how to wall jump, then you show that all these mechanics work. It's like, oh crap, man, these games are goddamn pieces of art and intelligence. So awesome. Like when people dismiss video games as just being a game or whatever, they're missing the point that these are hyper complex forms of art. Where when you look at a painting. It's like, wow, that is an incredible ability for acrylic art or oil arts and form of anatomy and all that. And then I used to think like actual feature film was like, wow, as animators, we have to know anatomy. We have to know like composition. We have to know lighting to some extent, although there's a different department. But altogether, you have to know that stuff in graphic design. It's like animation is the epitome of knowing all forms of art. Now you add video games, and you have to know the language of how the mind works on top of like the art form of all the other stuff, the anatomy and all that, and the graphic design. It's like the ultimate art form right now for I feel like the human civilization is video games, and that sounds maybe absurd to some people, but it really is. Like video games are goddamn the epitome of storytelling and art form all combined together.
That reminds me, there was this video. I apologize, I forget who posted it or where I found it, but it was about how Naughty Dog directs the player in Uncharted 3. There's like a scene where you're basically being chased on atop rooftops, and like, you know, if in any other hands nobody would know where to go, but through framing of architecture and lighting, sort of like, you know, spotlighting where you should go, like this intense chase scene feels like you're choosing where you're supposed to go, but in fact they're directing you with like, oh, birds flutter over this way, so you instantly flock towards that without realizing it, and they like, you herd towards motion or you're herd towards perspective lines and everything. It was a crazy video. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not this actually does get recognized in the future, but right now there is a renaissance of art happening, and I'm not sure if people fully, as a whole humanity, recognize the genius that is going on right now and the absolute evolution of an art form that's happening right in front of their eyes. It's pretty, like, when you think about it, it's pretty awesome. Like, we are living through a renaissance right now. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help when you have guys like George Lucas say that when you play a game, it's not the same as a movie because you want to beat the game and you approach it more as a sport. That's just pure ignorance in its finest.
It is. He's just, and that's fine. It shows himself as a certain age and a perspective that is archaic and will not be passed down.
Well, I think it's a really good example that Star Wars used to be for nerds, and now everybody likes Star Wars. We're just waiting for all those old fuckers to die anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to take over the world. Games are going to be so commonplace in 10 years. Like, nobody's going to fucking give a shit. It's going to absolutely be recognized as the art form that it is.
Yeah. Wait, what industry are we in? Are we in games?
Nope.
Oh, crap. Shit.
So, last little piece of news.
Let's do it.
The upcoming Insomniac trailer.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. Which said
That was
nothing,
pretty cool.
But I'm excited.
I was fucking blown away by it. It's 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2D. It looks like Echo the Dolphin.
What?
I'm actually thinking it's a brand new franchise, hinting at some sort of mythology Atlantis series. I think people are way off thinking it's... All right, I'm going to get pessimistic real quick. For anybody that hasn't seen it, you can just go to our Twitter feed and find a link to it. But Insomniac, you're slowly panning down through a 2D landscape, and you see some old mosaics and some statues and whatnot.
Underwater.
I don't know.
That's pretty much it. We'll find out more in 2 days, right? It said the 28th.
But where I was going with the
28th.
pessimistic thing is that, so I started to read the comments, and that's never good.
Yeah.
The amount of people that, and this is going, I'm harking back to episode 3 of just a few more minutes podcast, which is we were beginning to talk about like the reason for sequels, why there are so many sequels in movies and in games. The amount of comments about like, where's Jackson Dexter? Where's Ratchet and Clank? Where's Resistance?
Yeah.
Like, why isn't this any of those? What is this you're showing me? This is bullshit. Where's Ratchet and Clank?
Well, I think that's a really good reason why it's 2D. Because I think it is a new franchise, but they're not investing their full studio on it because it is a new franchise.
Yeah. But, does that not bother either one of you? It's just like, why are so many people just like asking, please give me another thing of the same thing I've had? Because every artist there wants to work on something new. I feel that at Blue Sky. I just want to work on something new, please, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, there's the guy on the Blue Sky Facebook page that every post says Rio 3, please.
Yes. Please, Blue Sky Studios Rio 3.
Yeah, that's what it is. People want what they know until they have the new thing. Like when The Last of Us came out, people were, well, before The Last of Us came out, I guess people, I don't know if anyone was actually upset because it's Naughty Dog, but I'm sure people were like, where the fuck's Uncharted 4? Mm-hmm. What's this zombie shit? Everyone's making a zombie game. And then The Last of Us came out and it was like the best game that studio has ever made. And now Uncharted 4 is coming out and they're like, where's The Last of Us 2? People just like what...
I know. I'm just hitting on a theme this week that goddamn humanity can be such a fucking piece of shit. Like, just goddamn relax. Why? Why do they gotta be like that?
I never thought I was an optimist until sitting next to you.
It's all right, Jeff. It's all right.
You know what? I'm gonna take a break here because...
Do we have a sponsor, maybe?
Let's go. Maybe we should hit a sponsor. I do have some bad news, Pete.
You do?
You know how we made the demand that McDonald's bring back those cookies or we were going to fucking ditch them as a sponsor?
Oh, no, you didn't.
No, they left us first. They're not bringing back the cookies.
I'm shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Yeah, especially after last week's discussion and read. That was...
I know. And I was worried that we weren't going to find a sponsor, but just today we had someone sign on. So I am excited. Michael, do you know how excited I am about electric cars?
Oh, I do actually.
Yes.
But please tell us.
This week's sponsor brought to you by the BMW i3. Your answer for a fully electric vehicle. This fully electric vehicle has everything you want. If you consider you can save between $10,000 to $15,000 over a comparable Tesla Model S.
Whoa!
That's some serious cash, $10,000 to $15,000.
Yeah.
All right, sure, it's twice as slow. It doesn't have 4 easy access doors. Doesn't have the safest vehicle rating in history of any vehicle ever created like Tesla does. Nor does it have the 17-inch touch-based display screen. And yeah, the Tesla can go 3 times farther on the average charge, but thanks to skillful lobbying of the government. In many states, you can't even buy the American-made Tesla. Due to basically Tesla's super straightforward, straight-to-consumer selling tactics. Because that is bullshit. That is illegal. You can't sell as a creator or as a creator of cars. You can't sell direct to. Why would you want it? Why would you want to sell direct to a consumer, Michael?
Pete?
No, see, you don't want to. That is illegal. You need a middleman. Everybody knows how good middlemen are. So
Yep.
No.
So can I ask you real quick?
No, because this read continues.
God damn
And
it.
for Connecticut residents, BMW has also made sure that they can have an extra $3,000 of a Clean Air Act incentive that Tesla electric cars have been excluded from. Because clean vehicles are important as long as they aren't American-made and continue to line the pockets of a bunch of asshole politicians taking money to fund their next pointless fucking campaign. Stop into a BMW dealer today and mention this podcast and BMW will throw you in a free fucking pointless format.
That was the longest sponsorship ever. BMW, go suck a dick.
And more specifically, the state of Connecticut can go suck my dick.
With their goddamn car tax?
Property tax for car tax.
And with their goddamn 2-lane 95
Right.
bullshit.
So yes, BMW will be sponsoring us for one episode only. That is for fucking clear because BMW can suck a fucking dick. And Connecticut can suck a fucking dick. For people that don't know, I own a Tesla. That is right. I stretched my fucking dollars to get a Tesla. And not only did I have to buy it in New York, transfer my place to New Jersey, transfer my place then to Connecticut, but then ultimately, because it's illegal in Connecticut, for them then to collect an absorbent amount of property tax, because yes, you have to pay property tax on your vehicles. Oh, that's okay. You can't buy the car, but they will collect a shit ton of property tax on the goddamn car. Thank you, Connecticut. You're a piece of shit.
First world problems.
wretched state.
More
Wretched
specifically,
state.
there is an act, a little incentive in Connecticut that incentivizes the cleanest cars available. This is called the, I think it's called the
horse
cheaper.
act.
Sorry, the cheaper program. The cheaper program, minus the last E for some reason in the word cheaper. The cheaper program incentivizes people to buy the cleanest cars possible, including fuel cell and fully electric and hybrid vehicles. The one car that is most prominently not part of that program is the Tesla. Why? Because I did write my local government and asked them why and how disappointed I was that the Tesla wasn't included. Their reasoning was that any car that has an MSRP above $60,000 and what was their other fucking stupid reason? And that cannot be sold by a dealer in the state of Connecticut will not be recognized by the program. 2 rules that, guess what? They fucking made up. They made up those 2 fucking rules. Those are not real rules. They're not written on some fucking retarded tablet brought down by fucking Moses. Hell no, they're 2 rules they made up specifically to exclude Tesla. Why? Because a fucking dealer and these manufacturers called Ford, Mercedes, BMW fucking pay these politicians with a line of money, so they absolutely will exclude Tesla because they're a small indie company that was built in America by Elon Musk. Yes, South African, I'm aware of that. But he's an American company that is building these cars and building American money, but aren't lining the fucking pockets of politicians. They're going to exclude that company. Fuck you, I'm buying my Tesla without your fucking money.
So you know Mike is actually inching away from you as you're going on with this, right? I've watched him kind of go off screen here. As
We've hit a
going on and
nerve
on.
with Annie winner Jeff Gabor.
Damn.
Yeah.
How does that
I
not
think he
piss
broke a
anybody else off?
Because we can't afford Teslas.
Right. Which is why they should add those incentives to make it more available to more residents of Connecticut. Does that not? That's the whole point. Oh, it's too expensive. We don't want to give extra incentives. What the fuck? Lower. Give the incentives so that lowers the amount so more residents can afford the more. You know what in cars they do incentivize? Mm-hmm. The BMW i3. Sorry, I know we're going to lose your sponsorship.
We never wanted it.
Guess how many miles the i3 can go on a single charge?
I'm sure you're gonna.
80 to 100 miles.
Okay.
80 to 100 miles on a single charge.
Okay.
How long does it take to charge? Between 4 to 6 hours.
Tell me about Tesla.
Tesla takes, again, same amount of time on a 220 watt charger. Can then go, in my car, which is the low end of the car, can go 240 miles. You get the high end, it can go nearly 300 miles.
Now, what was BMW's for clarification?
At the very highest, the most optimistic projection, 100 miles.
What was Tesla again?
My version, the lowest end, 240.
That's more than double.
That's more than double. What is more efficient? It's more clean. I know this is a video game and a movie podcast, but fuck Connecticut. God damn. God
Okay.
damn. God damn.
So there's your insight from Jeff Gabor on the Tesla and the politics of Connecticut.
Needless to say, we'll be
Pete, cash
losing.
that check. Yeah, cash that check right away. Cash that fucking check.
Don't worry, I've got an in on our next sponsor. They email me weekly.
Oh, all right. I'm looking forward to that.
It's Fleshlight.
Oh, man. Do you got the copy yet on that?
No.
Okay. Well, next week.
So what's our next topic, gentlemen?
You know what? We've actually had some call-outs, and specifically from Raymond Ross today. What? And
That's right.
I we do have a lot of topics, but I think this is one that specifically is important. What was the best project you worked on as an individual artist? Pete, what was your best project?
That's tough. I'd say my best film project. It's kind of it's like masturbating with a cheese grater.
Wow. That sounds
Horton.
terrible.
Horton here's a who.
All right.
It was the best project to work on animation-wise, but it was the worst project to work on production-wise. You know what I'm saying?
I can definitely confirm that.
Yeah. So, that's mine.
You want me to go now?
Sure.
Mine was the Peanuts movie, which was very recent, but it was the biggest thing I've ever done, most responsibility I've ever had, most useful I've ever felt, and most creatively fulfilled I've ever felt as well.
For those that are new to the podcast or don't know Michael Berardini specifically, Michael was the lead animator on the character Woodstock, which is the little yellow bird from the Peanuts series. For the most part, he led that character with his accomplice Drew Winey, which is also a very talented animator.
Yep.
Now I will agree. I think, for me personally, I did work on Horton as well, and I would have said that prior to the Peanuts movie. Peanuts movie was definitely my most rewarding project.
It was a special project, man.
It is. It's so similar, Pete, in many ways to the Horton Hears a Who, in that you felt a sense of responsibility for an artist that had created this whole following for a project. Mm-hmm. And when we first got the project and I started working on it, you started to notice, kids walking around with little Snoopy shirts and Peanuts shirts everywhere. Yeah. And you would go into CVS and see the cards, and it started to dawn on you, holy crap, I've bitten off a piece of culture that I'm supposed to keep alive and basically not screw up. So you felt the weight of it. And the amount of stuff.
I'd say tenfold from Horton.
That has a lot to do with why I place Peanuts a little bit ahead of it. Because also, I don't want to talk too much inside ball, because I feel like we're bordering a little like inside ball stuff that I think we're not supposed to really get into as current employees of Blue Sky. But Horton came with a series of obstacles that we weren't able to overcome in terms of what we wanted to see out of the project as Blue Sky employees. Right, Pete?
Right.
We definitely saw that film very different than how it ended up.
Exactly.
Where Peanuts, I am ultimately very happy on how it turned out. And the battles that we won were very many, and for the most part, we lost very few.
Yeah, that movie was on twos.
Yeah.
That was
pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
For people, I like to explain stuff because I don't know who the audience is exactly. We have a very wide audience. On twos means that basically for any average film, there's 24 frames per second. On twos means there's only 12 frames per second, which makes things look stuttery and relatively more cheap. There's half as many images, so things look like stop motion. It's just like a little bit jittery almost. And with that also comes no motion blur. So to get a studio like Fox to say, yes, I'm going to allow you to do that. I'm going to give you, in this case, $100 million to make a movie that looks cheaper than most any other 3D animated movie, and looks like we didn't give you as much money, but we're going to still give you the same amount of money, and get you and buy off on that concept that a cheap looking movie is actually going to be a very high production movie. It's a weird concept to get a company to buy off on, and to get them to do that, damn, fucking cool.
Thank God for the Lego movie. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we don't know if that had anything to do with it, but you gotta think it did.
I absolutely think it had something to do with it. It has to, because that was the only 3D movie that we could point to that was like, look, someone else is doing it, and it's very viable.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And if there's anything you ever want me to talk about on Blue Sky's behalf, or not on Blue Sky's behalf, but on, you know what I'm saying? I'm no longer an employee at Blue Sky, so if there's something that you can't say, maybe I can.
Let's save that while the eyes of Sauron are not currently looking at us. Because I got plenty to say about Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
not
me
right
too.
Now. Someday.
I could definitely go on a tirade for a little while about that one. Do you remember the original pitch?
Yeah, I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Jimmy Hayward, the director, alongside Steve Martino, gave a pitch to the animation department when we first started working on the movie, and it was just a verbal pitch. There was very little visuals whatsoever, and they pitched the entire movie and a room full of, I would say, about 35 animators were in tears at the end. A verbal pitch. It was so inspiring. It was like, holy fuck, this movie is
It was
going to
be
lives.
one of those movies that you were like on a holiday or something, you'd throw it in for the family. It was going to be one of those.
Isn't that the thing with creative endeavors, though? Like, you always have the best intentions, and it is always the loftiest, greatest thing. And then when you work on it, even if you're still going the path that you meant to, there's always stuff that deviates, and it's never the original intention.
Yeah.
Now, does Michael know the story?
Not at all.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't.
Maybe you could fill him in at another time.
I don't want to. Horton is one of those projects to be. Just to explain why I don't want to talk about it too much, outside of the fact that Michael and I are still employees. Blue Sky. Fox does not own the rights to Dr. Seuss or Horton Hears a Who. That is owned by the Giesel family. So that's why you don't see toys. That's why you don't see Blue Sky really advertise that they even worked on the movie. That's why there's this whole stupid fucking belief that the Lorax is a sequel or created by the creators. I can't stand that. Done by the creators of Horton Hears a Who. Fuck no, I did not work on the Lorax. We're not going to cut this out because I always say I don't like that movie. They did not have the respect for the material that Blue Sky did and the way we animated. Oh God!
Wasn't it because Chris Meledandri went over to that company?
That's right. Chris Meledandri was the head of Fox Animation, and then went and started Universal and had Illumination do the animation. So none of the employees, or very few of the artists. Illumination does good work. Lorax was not one of them.
Yeah.
All the other movies have been pretty great successes, and I cannot successes, not successes, And the Secret Life of Pets, that looks funny. That looks great.
Yeah, that
so I'm not
great.
just bashing to say because of other companies. They do great stuff. Lorax was not one of them.
I'm legitimately annoyed that they came up with that idea for that movie. It's like, that's the perfect idea for an animated movie.
It's like that. What do toys do when you're not looking? It's that same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope they deliver.
So far, their ad campaigns are hitting a home run. You don't like it? Oh,
I saw the latest trailer and I was like, we're focusing on, what even was it? A chicken? I don't remember.
My wife laughs every time that stupid Chihuahua head bangs in the original
trailer. Of course, because you guys own the stupidest fucking Chihuahua that's ever existed.
The Pebble Stone.
At the Pebble Stone?
At Twitter.
Yeah, at the Pebble Stone. Follow her.
She's the dumbest dog that has ever walked the face of the earth, but she's adorable. I can't explain it. She's so stupid, though.
And she's good at social media. It's funny. It's worth a half a snicker every time you see her post, right?
Let's just talk about how last episode Jeff was fucking incompetent at even understanding Twitter. Since then, he's gotten 3 Twitter accounts. He has his own Twitter. He's on the
JAFMM.
Just a Few More Minutes podcast, and he's got this goddamn Pebbles Twitter account.
That's right. I'm ripping it up. Oh yeah, so we should give out our new Twitter handles. I am at Jeff Gabor.
They're not new. They're new for you. I'm still at Mujaba, I think. I don't know.
I'm at Pete Paquette.
And this has been just a few more. No.
Yeah.
No.
I know. I'm just teasing. I'm just.
We're not. We still have topics, man.
All right. But we really do have just a few more minutes, man. We gotta get going. How long is it? What's our runtime right now, Pete?
Who cares?
Right now we're at 1:23.
Whoa! All right.
I honestly think 1:30 should be our goal for podcasting.
All right. Wow.
We're still
running
have
late.
a lot to talk to.
What did I say last week? The reason why I don't want this to run long is because I'm supposed to be playing video games.
Because it's his foreplay.
I don't care. You don't play video games. I have this proposed segment that I don't think anyone else likes, but I'm going to pitch it to the audience and see what you think.
Go.
I want to do a top 6 list because I've watched Jeff settle into being our host. I've watched Pete settle into being our news guy / fatherly figure. What have I got? I'm just the dick joke guy and occasionally a list of 6 things because I'm unable to whittle it down to 5. So I want to do a top 6 list. What do you guys think?
All right. What
Play
about?
the theme music, Pete.
Ba-da-da-da-da. It's Michael 6.
I like it.
So, I have this one prepared. We got advice, notes from people on our podcast, one of which was...
God damn, stop hitting the tape.
Sorry. One of which was, don't be afraid to cover the serious topics. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job of that at this episode. We've delved into the conspiracy of Connecticut and Tesla. So I think I should be allowed to dive into this serious subject. My top 6 emojis. So, at number 6...
Please tell me, hold on, you can find this top 6 on our Twitter handle after this. Please.
Sure, absolutely. All in one sentence, making a lot of sense. At number 6, we've got the little guy riding the horse. You know, the little Seabiscuit guy. He's like, yeah, we're riding.
All right, I'm looking at it. I like it.
Yeah, that's probably one of my most used. At number 5, goes in tandem with the horse guy. It's the golf hole, the golf green with the little hole in the flag.
No.
I like to pair it with the horse. You know, sometimes the horse is riding towards it, sometimes away. You know, it just gives it some nice landscape to the whole variety of text messages. At number 4, I recently just sent it to Jeff this evening. This is the little okay hand. You know, you got the thumb and the finger making the O, and then the other 3 fingers making the K. Yep, you got it, Pete. You know how to make the OK signal.
If you flip it upside down, it means asshole.
Well, that's not how I like it, sir. That's what number 2 is for. But number 4, you know, I like to stick with the tried and true yellow. Some people go, you know, Indonesian brown or black. I don't want to upset anybody, so I stick with the yellow. Then at number 3, you got the little...
Doesn't that affect Asians?
That's racist, sir. It's Simpsons color. At number 3, we got the little kissy blowing a heart face. That's probably my most used, but it's not my top. At number 2 is the peach, because it most resembles a butt out of all the things. Can we talk about how there's no butt emoji, Jeffrey? How do you feel about that?
I don't use emojis, dude.
I'm feeling very inspired to create my own top 6 of this because I want to combat this very badly.
I absolutely think you should next week. This is my time, Jeffrey. Shut up. So the peach is the butt. I think we should stand up for a butt in a thong or a naked butt. You know, it would be really good. And it would go perfectly with my number 1. And if anyone knows me, this is my most absolutely used emoji. It's the smiley poopy face. That's like the perfect text message. If someone sends you something and you want to acknowledge it but not actually respond to them, you don't want to give a smiley face because that's too forward. You give a smiley poopy face.
Used most recently in a very popular ad campaign for a movie coming out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Deadpool. The Deadpool. Yeah, I didn't like that. I don't...
Was it a disgrace to the emoji?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Michael's favorite emoji used in an ad campaign? No, he doesn't like it.
It's used in a shitty pun for a dumb superhero movie.
What?
My
hold on. Wait! We're going back to the comment earlier on, which was my email, which he correctly read as, I will never understand what you like and don't like.
I'm sick of superhero movies.
And then you finally get a one that is a little bit different, that is rated R, that is irreverent, funny, is completely not Avengers.
You're saying it's funny. I'm just going to put it out there. It's going to try to be funny. It's not going to be funny.
I've been laughing.
Based on what? Their fake-ass Valentine's Day trailer?
My reason number 1, they used your favorite emoticon in their campaign. Yeah.
I've got nothing to say.
They use I
don't follow the superhero movies.
At billboards, they would
Did
put.
we not say who this was about this whole time? It's Deadpool.
Deadpool. They used a giant. Just the billboard was a white background with 3 symbols. the skull symbol
face.
representing dead.
Dead.
Then the poo.
The poo.
The poop emoticon that Michael represented
poo.
his number one favorite emoticon, and then just a simple L.
A simple L.
Three symbols. So well, you'd have to somehow put it together that this weird billboard on a white background with three simple symbols meant Deadpool coming out, I think, February 14th.
Who cares?
That is funny. That is a creative and
Creative? No. It's creative for a 14-year-old girl texting her stupid boyfriend about fucking puns.
this is the thing. This is why I am envious that you are so judgmental on such a wide variety of things. Your opinion is like Division. Division looks awesome.
I never said that, but it could be cool.
And then to say Halo sucks. And then to go say cannot wait for Batman versus Superman.
I never said that. I'm
right.
not excited for Batman versus Superman.
What other fucking stupid underwear-wearing stupid movie are you looking forward to?
I'm not. I just said I'm sick of superhero movies.
All right, this big fan of Avengers over here.
I'm not a fan of Avengers. I hate Joss Whedon. Do you know me at all, Jeffrey?
This fan of Chronicle over here.
I don't like that movie
I
either.
like that movie. That movie's good.
You're such
This kid over here is from Colorado and hates the Broncos. That's the core of what I'm trying to get
I
at.
don't hate the Broncos either. I hate football.
Oh
Do
my
it.
God,
Do your voice.
This is so entertaining.
Do it. That's what he says to me all the time.
Yeah, but you take it in the wrong way.
Oh, how do you mean
think
it?
I'm making fun of the big, strong, buff guys that are fighting each other on the field. No, I'm making fun of you that's doing fantasy sports.
Are you saying you didn't say football is just a bunch of stupid big men with pituitary problems? Are you saying you didn't say that?
I'm absolutely saying I didn't say that.
He didn't say that, but it sounds like something
man.
he should say.
My sides.
Pete, where do you come down on this football business?
Oh, Pete Paquette. Sorry about your loss.
Yeah. It's okay, man. I didn't watch the game.
Damn.
Yeah, get out of here with your football
I know you were looking
bullshit.
for the one-up.
Damn.
You were looking for the one-up. I don't follow football anymore. I don't.
Hallelujah,
I gave up on
Pete.
it.
That's what...
I gave up on it ever since I realized there are a bunch of
Are you still a Red
thugs
Sox
and
fan?
rapists. To an extent, yeah.
Do you still follow them in the postseason? Like
Not-
if
not in the
they were in the postseason, would you be excited?
Oh, in the postseason. I thought you meant the
No,
preseason.
postseason. If the Red Sox were making a
Yeah.
run, would you be excited?
Yeah, totally.
Oh man.
'Cause, I
And
mean-
what if it was like the 7th inning and they were down, and you had to put on your rally cap, but the rally cap didn't seem to work?
I guarantee
Would you? Oh, I'm going somewhere.
God damn.
Would you maybe find another like superstitious way to try to bring the team back?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Where are you getting to? I know where you're getting to.
Would you?
I could tell you wholeheartedly I'm not as big of a fan as I used to be.
You wouldn't try to do any sort of superstitious repetitive motion.
You really want me to say it, don't
to
you?
try to rally your team back?
So Michael Berardini
I have heard
doesn't.
this story, Pete.
He has heard this story.
Hey, what
He
was
has
that?
heard
What
this
is that
story.
ad campaign? It's only stupid if it doesn't work.
Yeah,
It worked,
exactly.
didn't it?
It did work, but it only worked once.
Worked hard.
Yeah, the second time, no, not so much, eh? But it was still fun, right? Though, Pete.
Yeah, it was. It was good
I just got...
because it worked. God damn it, it worked.
This is the new era of manliness where you can acknowledge that you don't like sports.
All right.
What?
Here we go again.
Okay.
Here we go again. Now, I went off on you a little bit yesterday or 2 days ago about this.
Yeah.
I do have a problem with this. All these people, the nerds have taken over. I agree. I have a stack of Nintendos behind my desk.
You're
Whatever.
fucking nerd.
But I have the ability to recognize that everybody's fucking getting up in arms about these costume wearing, underwear wearing, stupid idiots jumping around as superhero movies and treating it like it's the most important thing in the world, while they single-handedly say things like sports and downplay. Downplay real people that spend their entire lives working out and perfecting
their entire lives. They play till they're fucking 30, and then they waste all their money on shit.
But isn't it impressive the stuff that they're able to get their body to do and perform and put on the line? I feel like that's relatively, no, it's not relatively, it absolutely is an impressive thing that is worth paying attention to.
It's no more impressive than us animating, or no more impressive than fucking guy at the grocery store bagging fucking apples every day. I'm not impressed by the football fucks that all they do is fucking hit each other. Who cares? I don't.
Pete, you played football. I did football.
Play football.
Is it just people running around hitting each other?
There's a lot of tactics involved.
Yeah, you're not making the tactics. You're doing what you're told. You're a fucking meathead hitting each other.
That, to an extent, is
and
true. You have your job and you do it.
This is the real change that's gone on in the last 15 years. It's crazy.
It's not crazy.
It's so crazy.
It's male chauvinistic shit going away. It's not bad.
But
football is so stupid. Of all the sports, it is the absolute stupidest fucking sport that has ever existed.
I will give my opinion that because I've played many sports. I have.
You're very athletic, Jeffrey.
I don't play sports anymore. Do you think I'm not athletic?
I saw you play kickball, friend.
Did you see that almost double play that I turned back into a single? Anyways, I play sports. I played football, and the amount of communication it takes and the amount of teamwork it takes, the amount of ability that you, or like strategies you have to learn in the blocking schemes, whether it's what the patterns are, just to be able to be a quarterback and say the play where it's a 287 left to right off a 967 pass.
That's no different than having the fucking a good understanding of the 12 principles of animation.
I definitely agree. I think they're very similar.
Nobody gives us the respect we deserve for animation. Why should I give the respect for these fucking idiots?
I think I'm making the thing that there's a change in that a lot of respect is now giving to the world of nerds, and I'm using nerds just as the common vernacular. Like I'm not meaning it as like a pejorative, like negative.
You better not be, because you're
one
of them.
That I feel like right now there is this over the top thing where these brutally over the top men are seen as stupid, and a lot of them are. It takes so much hard work and discipline to gain that level of skill. I think it's sad that both disciplines can't be seen as living in the same world as skillful.
I agree they are skillful. I don't agree that as a man I should be forced to like football. Just because they're good at being told how to hit each other and line up in a fucking formation.
Agreed.
All right.
You cannot like. You're allowed not to like football.
Yes, absolutely.
Michael.
Nobody's allowed. I think it's a bummer that all through college I was made basically when I went to the Art Institute of Colorado. I was like, don't talk about how you're a sports fan. People hate that, and it was like this whole negative, like shaming thing that I liked sports.
Well, it's because everybody takes sports to the weird next level. Where if you're, I don't understand why, for example, the Broncos are in. They just beat the Patriots or whatever. There's this stupid antagonistic relationship between fans. Like, just shut up about it.
I'm trying to think of a reason why that is. I don't know. I was explaining.
Well, it's the same thing with the Yankees Red Sox.
So
this rivalry.
There's a rivalry, and then I was talking to. I was over at a friend's house watching the Pats Broncos game this last weekend, and the guy that was hosting. His son, when the game was over and the Broncos won and the Pats lost, the son was going to go onto the bus the next day and was going to get made fun of. And he was trying to tell his son, like, how to compensate for it and, like, what to say to those other people. And I obviously immediately felt bad about, like, wow, this kid's going to have to go through this.
See, that's ridiculous.
Well, and I was thinking, like, to me, the essence of sports, why to be a sports fan, it has very, very little to do with how you are a sports fan when you like a team. It's much more about relating to when your team loses. I am a fan of this person or this team or this rock band or this video game in spite of what people say that it's not a winning team or it's not a good team. You're a fan even though they lose. And I think that's a good lesson for kids to learn, for adults to learn. Because when you think of like being a fan of the Broncos or any sports team, there is, in terms of the NFL, what is there? 32 teams. There's a 31 out of 32 chance that you're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I completely disagree that you should ingrain your child into loving the Broncos at such a young age. Like, if you want to be so broad about enjoying the sport, let them enjoy, like, vote for or be the fan of the team that fucking has the best formation execution bullshit, right? Like, why are they only told to like the Broncos?
Because they have the team with the best execution information.
No, they don't. That's your stupid bias, Jeffrey.
Anyway,
Yeah, this is not a sports.
No, but all right. I mean, we'll get comment. Again, we encourage everybody to continue to give us feedback on Twitter and Facebook and tell us what topics to cover and what topics you like and not, since this is very much the very beginning. This is episode 4 of Just a Few More Minutes.
Episode 4. We're pretty set in our ways, everybody. I got my top 6 list. I mean, I'm pretty good.
But I feel like these topics that we're talking about are applicable to very many facets of life. And they're certainly interesting to me.
I just want to say, my favorite podcasts are the ones that just cover everything. You didn't see my hand motion, but it was a very broad gesture.
yes. Very circular.
Like the world
Circular.
and boobs.
Yeah.
I just want... People told me I am saying too many dick jokes. I went this whole podcast without a goddamn dick joke.
Pretty sure you mentioned your dad.
It's not true. Please be quiet.
Yeah, we mentioned shower with your dad simulator and your
That
your
was
eyes
you,
lit
Pete.
up.
I went through that whole Michael Jackson bullshit without saying anything. There were so many things I wanted to say.
We're definitely running out of time, but I wanted to mention topics that we will probably likely cover in the future, which include best games to play with your spouses, best games to play with your kids. Those are very important topics that we want to make sure we do cover. There's possibly some really cool stuff we want to just go ahead and tease about cool Easter eggs in games and our favorite games. Are not favorite games, but games that we are embarrassed to admit we haven't played. So those are definitely topics to look forward to in our future podcasts.
Yeah, most definitely. That sounds
And
awesome.
we have special guests coming up, too.
We have special guests such as Matt Simmons.
Matt Simmons of New Go Games.
New Go Games is a video game developer company for iPhone. You can catch his game Miss Me, which is already available in the App Store. And he's got definitely several games that are in beta testing form. He's also the head technical animator, or I don't know what his official title is, but he's definitely the head nerd at Blue Sky Studios.
Head
animation
honcho
department.
of
Yeah.
making sure all animation looks better.
Yeah, he's basically what makes the animation department function. at
I
Blue
love
Sky.
him, man.
Hey, he's a great guy.
He works on some crazy stuff. He's so smart.
Including, you may look forward to a future interview with BJ Crawford, animator at Blue Sky Studios. He's definitely a resident 2D animator and current nominee for the Annies and the Annie Awards. And by the time getting
The whiskey's finally getting to me, too. It's okay.
by the time we record our next episode, he will either be Annie loser or Annie winner, and will join us on our podcast to talk about it.
He thinks he's only going to come on if he wins, but he's absolutely coming on here to talk about his experience there.
And of course, we already teased Jamie Geiger, expert on all things Xbox. So things to look forward to on Just a Few More Minutes.
We also have Ron Pucciarelli.
Hell yeah.
Ron Pucciarelli wants to be on the show. He works at Sony.
Ooh,
Fantastic.
there was a Sony news article that I didn't send you guys that is not really worth mentioning, but they combined the hardware and the software into one unit today called, I'm sort of drunk at this point, so I don't remember. Whatever. We'll talk about it later.
It sounds important, though.
It's really not. It won't affect anybody.
No, but it sounds like it could be functionally a very progressive thing.
Yes,
To combine hardware and software into a single piece.
The only reason they're doing it is because Sony is hemorrhaging money, except for their PlayStation platforms and like their TVs. But we'll talk about it next episode.
Cool.
How about that?
Interesting. So this has been just a few more minutes. We're three veterans of the animation and video game industry. Dish about all things entertainment, video games, sports, Tesla, vehicles, sponsorship, related, the whole circle of life that
Dads.
Michael mentioned. I am Jeff Gabor. Next to me is...
Michael Berardini.
And across from me is...
Pete Paquette.
And this... Yeah.
Be sure to like us on Twitter.
Don't forget to...
Or don't like us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. And subscribe to our podcast, as well as give us a review. That would be most appreciated.
Ideally 5 stars. If you're feeling like, I could give them 4, just think about all the other podcasts that you listen to and how shitty they are compared to this one, and just bump it up to 5 stars. Thanks very much.
Well,
Goodbye.
bump it up to 5 stars just because you want us to keep going. We get 1 4-star review and we drop 100,000 reviews.
We're going to keep going regardless because we don't have anything else to do on Tuesdays, but 5 stars will really motivate me to wake up in the morning because sometimes my job makes me not want to wake up, but sometimes it does. But the 5 stars would be really, really good. So I love you so much and thank you.
I'm going to give a special shout out to... Actually, I started this sentence not knowing what I was going to shout out to. Thank you. This has been just a few more minutes. And...
Wait.
Okay.
We didn't talk enough about our new logo and how great my wife and I did.
Wait, you both did it? Are you taking...
It was a collaboration.
It was a good collaboration.
She did all the hard work, and I added a little bit extra to it. But she is amazing, and I love her, and that's all.
She did do a fantastic job. I really do like the way it turned out.
Yes, thank you to the lovely Mindy Berardini.
Follow her and email her at mberardini@skystudios.com.
That's still me, and stop emailing me already.
Peace!